Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I'm a divorce financial mediator in St. Louis, Missouri. But today we're going to talk about value creation at every stage of the business cycle. And I think it's an important conversation to have, but it's important to maybe have it from a financial aspect as well. So we're going to be talking to Jordi Pujol, who is a CFA and Chartered Financial Analyst, an MBA graduate from the Wharton School. He is also a modeling wizard, financial modeling, that is, and valuation specialist in Los Angeles. He works in the middle market, appraising businesses and intellectual property for financial reporting, tax reporting, and strategic decision making. He also works in a boutique investment bank in Southern California. Welcome, Jordi. How are you?
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for having me. I'm a longtime listener and very, very excited to be talking to you today. So I'm excited to get going.
Guess what's important again? The people. The know-how. Are they enforcing that brand? And you meet somebody out in the world and they're a representative of Nike. Are they, does that matter? And now who your people are and this goodwill becomes even more important, right?
Absolutely. I mean, people are absolutely everything. Um, I was talking to a friend recently, and he mentioned that some of his salespeople, they have a base salary, then they have commissions, but they're capped on the commission. And to me, that's absolutely crazy. And this is a pretty major MLS soccer team, and they still have that structure where they're not sharing some of that upside indefinitely. And to me, that's crazy, right? I also I take a lot from Channing, who's the creator of Objective and one of the founders. And he always said that, the right people in the right places, and the no management system, where you are essentially getting people together that are accountable, that like what they're doing, that they're experts in their field, and that almost on their own they can create something. And that's your job again as an entrepreneur. You put them together at the beginning, but then you have to create all these standard procedures for hiring, all these standards procedures for onboarding, standard procedures on how to operate, because that's the only way you're going to scale. In business school, I took this operations class, and there's this really funny kind of Subway example where we obsess about how long it takes to chop the tomatoes, and does somebody build the sandwich and also charge you at the end. Do they work on different stations, or do they separate into three different stations and you have three people? I'm like, wow, this is the dumbest example ever. But I went to an ice cream shop the other day, and there were something like 4 or 5 people working there, and the line was crazy. And you've seen the lines at some of these ice cream places, but one person was making a milkshake, and he took 15 minutes to make that milkshake, right? And in those 15 minutes, the other person served like 4 or 5 customers. And so, again, really simple example, but that tells you how important it is to think about these operating procedures and starting standardizing the operating procedure, knowing where your bottlenecks are, understanding how to move people along a chain. And so if you're in operations, or pretty much anything that has a service component, that know-how, that operating procedure is extremely, extremely important, right? And if you run through it, because one thing is putting it on paper, and one thing is running it in real life, you'll see where those issues are, right? And so somebody needs to document that and let the person know, hey, if there's a big line, you got to cancel out milkshakes, right? Yes, they make $10 and the regular ice cream makes five, but in that same time, you're going to serve 5 groups of people at a average $15 clip. That doesn't make sense, right? You're essentially losing money. That may lead to changes in your operations, and may lead to changes in the way you hire people, how many people are at a station at any given time. But that's another area where it's going to be important when you're in early stage. It's going to be important when you're in middle stage, and extremely important when you're a mature company, because you've probably reached that arc of value, and now it's all about that operating performance. So